This is the kaizen board I purchased for this project.
Looks like it comes in a 2 1/4 thickness, also in 7/8.
And I got it through Amazon. A friend asked me to cut out a foam based on his pistol. I did 3 attempts and I did not care for the first 2. The third one came out great. I sent it to him. He wants another one done. And this was the second attempt here. And you can see how, I don't want to say it's sloppy, but it was a different approach. The little levels, they're all 1/8. And those of you that have been working with this in the past know that you either love it or hate it. The reviews on Amazon that received the 1 star at least said that it was very difficult to separate the layers. At first I said, well, they must be doing something wrong, but after my first and second attempt on doing one, I realized sometimes it comes up easily, other times it does not. And since this is 1/8, there's 7 for the 1 1/8 thick foam, and this is what we're working with. And I'm just going to go through it really quickly, and some steps I may skip, the obvious ones. The reason I'm doing this here is because I was watching some videos. They took one of these electric knife carvers, something you would use for your turkey for Thanksgiving type of thing, and it doesn't really give you a nice precise cut. I took the extra step, and I'll share with you my approach as how I came about this here. The first thing I did was take the measurements of the actual foam you needed cut out. Then I transferred this foam size over to a piece of paper, outlined it, cut it out, take the pistol. By the way, you can see the safety mechanisms on here, so plus there's nothing in the magazine, in fact no magazine at all. And I laid it on a piece of paper, trying to situate the pistol as to where will get the best fit, since we don't have much room. In fact, for this particular foam, I think they're only giving me 6 inches in height, and I think they're 17 inches in width. So the way I laid it out was pistol, magazine, and I outlined it with the magazine in here so you can see the extra outlining. Plus he also went with this, what is it, a laser. Next thing I did, I took a straight edge, if you will, ruler or something, lined it up nice and flat. Then I took this here and I elevated this here so it doesn't rock back and forth. I put something here on the bottom, a little piece of sponge or what have you, and just follow it to get the nice 90-degree. And as you follow it, you're outlining it with your pen or pencil, whatever. Then once that's done, you scribe it all together. Then I cut it out, and I made it kind of clean for you guys so you can see exactly what's going on here. The next thing I did was took my pistol and magazine, and I got half the distance in depth here. In this case here, I took my square, put it against here, and figured out, okay, 6/8. Recorded it here. Next thing I did, took the magazine, did the same thing, figured out what's half of the magazine, and it comes out to 3/8. Recorded it here. Once that was done, I come back to this here. And for this here, I'm going to go ahead and tape everything down. Do not want it to shift on me. And most likely I'm going to speed this up. Nobody likes to see paint dry. Then I'm going to take some of these pins and insert them. I don't want things shifting on me, especially when I'm cutting things out. And no, I don't need them in here. Now the first thing, well, let me show you the tools I'll be using. I'll be using a scalpel, a fine tip on it. I'm also going to be using this particular scalpel. And this is interesting. Prior to this here, what I was doing, I would take a nose pliers and take one of the blades, secure it, and as I was lifting up the layers of foam, I would cut away to make the surface nice and flat. For those of you that worked with this stuff before, you know that when you're pulling this apart, sometimes the layers don't separate correctly and you get this ugly looking surface. So in order to get a nice clean flat surface, that's what I'm using. For this particular scalpel, it's pretty awesome where it'll angle. It'll give you different angles here. And you could swap out the different blades. But for this here, when I was working, I would take the foam, lift, and just saw away. Well, cut away, I would say. The other tools I have here are these scissors that are slightly bent. That helps me cut away at an angle. Because once you're in here in a tight area, it's hard to get scissors in there and cut this way. This way, if they're angled, you're able to cut and come out with a decent looking product. The other item I used was this, I'm not sure what you want to call it. What is it? A Stanley cutter. And I use this one here to basically, once I had my pattern, I would go down here on a right angle. I placed a block or something here and just cut away to get this nice 90-degree angle here. So let's get going. Work on this one here. I know that the depth I need is 6/8. So I'm going to take my tape and create a stop on this here blade. So I need 6/8. And this is already preset to 6/8. So I want the distance there. And it's right at the tip there. So I'm going to put this little piece of tape there to remind me that I don't want to cut past that point. If you do cut past that point, it doesn't really matter. The foam will stay in place, but you want to make it easy for you to basically remove the foam as you're going. You want nice clean removals from the edges. So I don't want to go past this point here. The same thing's going to happen when I do the magazine. I'm going to set it to 3/8 and continue with the same process. So let's zoom in. Oh, one last thing here. These finger grabs, whatever you want to call them, you just put a quarter in there for the most part, center it, and circle it. So there's my stop. Some of the sites talk about using a pencil for the outline, then coming back and getting in, I think it's an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch closer. I tried that. I didn't care for the results. It didn't get me a tight fit with the pistol. So I just opted to go ahead and just take my little ruler there and go against the edge. Oh, if I forget, I won't be showing this process, but I went out and I purchased this 3M Super 77 multi-purpose adhesive. Once the cutout is done, this is what they'll be using to spray the back of it. Now, I like to remove the layers one at a time. If you get a little too aggressive, you're going to run into problems. You're going to see that you're going to be pulling up too much, and if it goes past a layer you did not attempt to remove, you're going to be kicking yourself. Okay, let's start from here. I'm going to start picking away at the first layer. Once you get started, it's a little easier. And I noticed certain parts of the sheet were easier than others, so I could see I understand the frustration of those that were working with this stuff before and gave the seller a 1 star. And see, this side's coming out nicely, nice 1/8. And I just continue. I pinch and I just pull. I don't go. I try to bring out the whole thing in one piece if possible. As you can see, some parts are coming out nicely, other parts break away, and they leave you with this extra material here. And let me jump to that here. Once I get down to the bottom layer, the way I remove that, I could either remove it with a pair of scissors like this here, get to the bottom of it, and cut away. Or you could take needle nose pliers, take your blade, secure it like this here to give you a nice 90-degree angle. I can't see the camera there. Then you just basically hold it nice and tight. It's a little flimsy, so you gotta be careful. But for the most part, this is a dull blade, but you get the idea what I'm doing here. I need a new blade for this particular one. I've used it for their projects, but it'll cut away. In fact, one I used for this project was the round one, and where did that go? Anyhow, it was one of these nicely rounded ones here. I attached it to this here and moved away. Or you can go out and purchase one of these here. I don't recall what I paid for this here, but same idea. It's just cut away. And just take your time, and it gives you pretty decent results. Let's angle this more. Now, I like it more of a slight angle, less than a 90. And it doesn't let me come back this way. Oh, it does. This is even better. And, oh, perfect. Nice and clean. So it's going to give me a nice flat surface on the last layer I want. So we'll leave it at this here. So let's continue with this. And since I have my gauge set to 6/8, when I get a little deeper, I will be applying this to the surface here and kind of help me gauge this here. I don't want to go deeper than my 6/8. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use this here, and let's try to stay as level as possible. And if you have something hugging your wall there, just come back with this here and just separate it slightly. Go a little deeper. If you go past that 6/8 depth, it doesn't really matter. Let's see. feels good. Let's take a quick measurement here. A little high here. A little high here also. Pretty cool. We're rocking here somewhere. Anyhow, the client suggested I cut something out here because of the laser. It was sitting too high, so now put it in, it's nice and flat. Apparently this section here was pretty bulky, so it was tipping the gun up this way, so by inserting or cutting the section out, it sits better. He also suggested I remove additional material from the handle area, so that's what I'm doing right now. So let me just get a quick outline as to where that is occurring. And I'm just using a pen just to mark it for myself here. Oh, much better. Nice and snug now. You don't get movement. And finger grips. I have no idea what size fingers, how thick they are, but anyhow, this works. Comes out. That works fine too. That's You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing this section here having a little lip. It just goes in deeper than these sections, than this section here. So if I were to cut away something from there, I'll get a better fit. So let me say it's going to come from, and it tapers down this way. Same with this one. Right, that's going to do it. Here, here. And there. All right.